Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review, and today we're going to be looking at the Hosonic V20. Okay, and I've been really getting into these keychain flashlights recently. I've just found them to be great portable work lights, makeshift headlamps as well, especially when you've forgotten another flashlight, forgotten to bring another one on you. This happened to me just the other day. I was on a ride. I didn't bring along my main EDC as I thought I'd be home before dark, but luckily I had one of these clipped to my backpack. They're just so small, and yeah, you can chuck them in any of your bags for emergency use. The amazing thing about the Hosonic V20 is that it crams pretty much every feature you can think of into a keychain light, and that includes an insanely loud electronic whistle. I guess that's where the Sonic comes in from Hosonic. All right, so this is basically what you get in the box. You get the light itself, the V20, USB-C charging cable, get a lanyard, get a key ring loop, and you also get a couple of these diffusers, orange diffuser and a white diffuser. You also get one of these instruction manuals included too. Here's a comparison between a couple of other flashlights of similar features and size to the V20. I thought this would be good to just show a size comparison of the Wuben X3. And you know, the V20 has this rotatable head, which is kind of similar to the X3 as well. But you do get probably more viewing angles with the V20. The E8 takes a secondary, primary in there. All right, here's a little close-up of the V20, and the body is made of glow-in-the-dark polycarbonate, so pretty much the entire body except for the black bits. And you can see as well here in the back, so all pretty much see through. There's the 1100 milliamp hour battery, takes up most of the internal space. You've got the board, the chipboard just on top there, but yeah, the battery takes out a huge amount of room in there. And I think that's good because most other keychain flashlights, they come with about a 300 milliamp hour cell. That definitely gives me battery anxiety. And the cell in this one, it's about the same capacity as an 18350 cell or a 14500 cell. Got these dual switches here on the front made of rubber, double-sided clip on the back, so you can clip it onto your hat if you need to. It's pretty rigid as well, surprisingly. Not much give. USB-C charging here, just underneath that little port cover. You've also got a magnet here on the end and a keyring hole, and this little surprise feature here, a little grate for the electronic whistle. On the front, these auxiliary LEDs, which basically are red, blue, green, white. You've got UV as well. And yeah, if we just have a look here on the front, and we can just rotate it pretty much. It rotates 180 degrees, as you can see here. But you've got a couple of these main LEDs. I'm not sure what they are, and Hosonic don't specify what these LEDs, these white LEDs are, but they're rated at 1000 lumens together. These two little ones here in the center are red LEDs. I'd say they're around 620 nanometers. They're not deep red, more kind of an orangey red. And they come in these small, smooth reflectors in there as well. Whereas these other two LEDs here have TIR lenses. The head is made of aluminium, very important for heat dissipation, especially in a small light like this. Okay, so I'm going to go through the UI, show you how the light works. If you single press any of these buttons, nothing happens, okay? So I think that's good, especially if you've got the light in your bag. You don't want it to accidentally activate, given that there's not a proper lock mode on this light. So essentially, if you're wanting to access any of the auxiliary modes, you've got to double press, okay? So that's like a red, and then you single press to just switch in between the different modes. You see here, there's also a little green LED that pops up when you turn the light on. So like that, just over there, the little green LED between the two buttons. Okay, that changes to red and a flashy red, depending on the battery level. So there's a battery indicator in there. So you got blue, you've got a flashing red, got a blue and red flashy. You've got a white light, UV light, and you've got a green light as well. And these auxiliary LEDs shouldn't be taken lightly. They're very bright. I mean, considering how small they are there on the side, I think these are good if you want to extend the lifespan of the battery. You just need, you know, a decent little light, maybe a walking light to see a few meters ahead of you, or just a working light, something like that. You know, these are going to be ideal. Now, same button here, that left button, if you triple press it, 1, 2, 3, you get access to these two red LEDs here. You can't change the brightness of those red LEDs. Would it be nice if you could do that? Okay, press and hold to turn off. Now, from the off position, if you press and hold the left button, you're going to get that whistle, this really loud whistle. Okay, and yeah, it's pretty damn loud, I have to say. And it's really weird because if you have your hand, if you push, kind of cup it into your hand like this, it's even louder. If you double press the right button there, you get access to these two main LEDs, okay? And basically just single press to cycle modes, okay? And you can turn it off, press and hold again. If you press and hold the right button, you basically get access to turbo, okay? And like I said, that LED there in the center of the two buttons is the battery indicator. Okay, so I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests here, and you can see I've got the V20 on high. Get about 20 seconds, 15 to 20 seconds of high mode before it steps down pretty much immediately to about a third of its output. If you go and check out these other ceiling bounce tests as well on the medium mode, pretty much that same pattern where it just steps down to about a third of its output after about the 20-second mark. Low mode, pretty much the same as well. I was hoping that the low mode wouldn't step down as much, given that it's not super bright. You've also got the red mode, and this was interesting. So it basically just held 90 to 100% of its output for the duration of the test, so up to the 35-minute mark. Overall, the light is pretty bright, but it does step down quite quickly. It is a small keychain light. I don't expect it to hold output for very long at all. You see that same pattern with the Wuben X3 II. Good thing though is that the main red mode does hold output for a significant period of time. Here's a bunch of tests that I ran with my Opal Lightmaster Pro, and you can see here on turbo I got 106 meters on switch on. Quite impressive. CRI ranged from 71 to 74. The CCT was quite high, so 6,400 to 6,800. So definitely a very cool white, bluish white color. And there's also some measurements here with the red mode, 18 meters. All right, so some considerations to be aware of. The first one is that the build quality, I think, could be improved. So yeah, don't get me wrong, it's perfectly acceptable, doesn't affect the performance at all, but it just doesn't have the look and feel as and the polish as some of my other keychain lights. An example is just this writing that you can see through the battery, this back panel here. They could have just gotten rid of that. The auxiliary light here as well. Would it be nicer if there was a sort of clear panel in this section? The second consideration is that the V20 does not have a replaceable battery. It is a 1100 milliamp hour cell though, so wear effects shouldn't erode the battery capacity as much as a lower capacity cell. There's not really many keychain lights out there that do have replaceable batteries. The third consideration is that there is no lock mode, like I mentioned before, but keep in mind that you do have to double click in order to turn on a lighting mode, so it's less likely to activate accidentally. Even if it does activate accidentally, the LEDs don't produce enough light in order to cause burns or anything like that. Overall, I think this is a great little do-it-all keychain light that's not going to break the bank. You can chuck one in your bag, pretty much forget about it until you need it, even in the glove box. You can even carry it on you if you want as an EDC. I like that the UI is pretty simple and you've got this separated out through these two buttons, sort of auxiliary lights and the main light here on the right hand side. You've got this high capacity cell as well, which for me makes it one of the few keychain lights that I think is suitable for EDC or camping trips where you're going to need some sustained output. I'll put a link to the V20 down in the description below if you want to check it out. If you have questions, just let me know down below and I'll get back to you. If you enjoyed the video and you found it helpful, do me a favor, click the like button on the video and share it with a friend. Helps me to get my videos out to more people and doesn't cost you a cent. And finally, if you want to keep up to date with the latest flashlight reviews and news, make sure you subscribe. The Hosonic V20 turbo mode, or the highest mode, essentially by holding down that main button. And that is pretty impressive for a little keychain light. It reaches 100 meters on this mode. Okay, can go through all the other modes as well. So different steps: low, medium, eco, low, medium, high. Okay, that's the highest mode. And let's see if it picks up the red as well. I can see it in person, but it's difficult to see on camera. I'll go for a little stroll so you can see the beam profile of this thing, and I'll activate the auxiliary lights as well later on. Hosonic V20. It's the highest mode. Cycle through the different modes. It's bright enough to reach the end of the path. See the trees. This is perfectly fine for a walking light. Let's get that red beam on. Okay. Kind of difficult to see it on camera. Up close it's okay. Let's get in these auxiliary modes.